I think so. Don't bump it, Kay.
They did a good job.
They did a good job?
Yeah.
I think so too. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Especially they set it off the back.
Yeah, not bad, huh? If you guys can see that over there, it's a pretty good rock stacking somebody did. We just stumbled upon it. Now there are people who will point out when you stack rocks like that, you are disturbing the natural environment. And some of these, like the one that my boy here's got, if it's in the water, you know, crayfish, different minnows, aquatic stuff can live underneath it. If it's on land, salamanders, frogs, other things can live underneath it. It's an important part of the habitat. So some people are incredibly against anyone ever stacking rocks. Cool thing is, Monster Truck and I just took a trip to get a load of hay. We're preparing for winter, making sure our hay barn is full in the middle of spring or middle of summer, so that way by the time we get to winter, we're set to go. We prepare and plan ahead of time, right?
Yes, sir.
And we also both kind of have some nose and throat stuff going on, so he's gonna be a little squeaky, right?
Yes.
And I might be talking a little different than normal too. Another cool thing is I'm actually editing a book to put out soon, and on the picture of that book, the work in progress photo has a rock stack with this guy next to it. So perhaps this is kind of added confirmation that I should be working on getting that thing out soon. I just hate the editing process, but I'm gonna work on that. The purpose of this video though is what happened to Monster Truck. We've been getting some comments on some videos lately, just noticing the lack of Monster Truck. Where has he been? If you saw the last video, I went with Sweet Pepper, Red Pepper, and Pinky Pepper and some friends on a kayak trip. We had a wonderful time. Monster Truck was not there. Last I saw, there still wasn't any comments on that particular video asking where he was. But if we back up, you'll see me fishing with Red Pepper. We're each catching our first gar ever on fishing poles, and people are like, oh, doesn't Monster Truck like fishing? Wouldn't he like something like this? Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah? How many gar have you caught so far?
0.
0. How many would you like to catch?
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch. But do you know why you haven't been in some of the videos lately?
Yes.
Why is that? Have you been gone somewhere? Did you take a trip? Maybe a vacation? Go to a camp?
No.
No? Hey, sit nice and speak at the camera, boy.
No, sir.
Okay, what happened?
Well,
Just the simple short answer. You were what?
disobeying.
He was disobeying. So part of parenting for us is to teach and train and instruct our children. And we want to teach and train you guys a certain way, right?
Yes, sir.
And we want you to be like honest, sincere, helpful, kind, considerate, respectful, trustworthy, things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
And then we have to teach you not to do what type of things?
Not to lie.
Not to lie.
Not to steal.
Not to steal, not to be selfish, not to be disrespectful. And how have you done on some of those things lately?
Very bad.
Very bad. Okay? Now this is something that everyone struggles with at times in their life. I guarantee, not judging you, but I'm going to guarantee, I'm not even going to guess, you've told lies. You've stolen something, even if it was just time from the company when you were punched in not working. You've done things you shouldn't have done in your life. None of us is perfect. But the more that we give into those things, the worse they become. I was talking to you guys earlier during family devotions this morning, and I pointed out that when you're little, you have little problems, you have little strength, little anger, you know, little capability to do harm to others, but what happens when you get bigger? What do those things do?
You have more power, more
ability to do harm, and all your issues you create become bigger. And then if you don't solve them when you're a kid, what if you have your own children and you're still doing all that stuff?
They'll follow after your example.
They'll follow after your example. You'll set that bad example for your children, and then they'll do that when they get up, when they grow up. I know plenty of families who there was an issue that grandma and grandpa had, and then their children had the issue, and then their children have the issue. Now their children are having the same issue because nobody ever breaks that cycle. Well, I come from a lot of issues in my past, I really do. And the man that I am now is a far cry from who I was earlier in life. I was a very wicked, evil, violent, selfish, sinful, perverse, just a wrong man. There was nothing good about it, yet I would deceive myself and call myself a good person. So I'm glad that that jerk that I turned me into never got to be married to my wife and never got to be the father of these children, because he would have been a pathetic father to these children. He wouldn't have done a good job. It wouldn't have been any good. And I would hate to reproduce after my own kind if I was still that type of person. Thankfully, my life is the polar opposite of what it once was. Thankfully now, we're able to set a different example, to have different goals. And part of the interesting thing about it all is there's certain things that are important for me and my generation to be able to hand down to his generation. As time goes on, it seems that people are not very good at doing those things. There were families who used to, but even that multi-generational vision, that determination, that focus, that time that required to do things like that is hard to come by for a lot of people. And a lot of people raise children that are completely opposite of what they hoped to. So for me, I've only been a father for 11 years now. I've only been his father for 9 years now, right? 8. 8 years now, okay? I'm relatively new at this. A lot of my life is speculation. A lot of it is hypothetical. I do not know the end result of it, but I must do the best that I can in the moment to do what I can for him, to do what I can for his siblings, to set them up for the best possible end result as they continue on in their life. Excuse me. And it is my aim and determination to do that, even when we had our Teespring shop running, and I'll do a video about that soon. I may get back into that. People have been asking, and some people who got some stuff were talking about how great it was. We were just running into some low quality stuff from Teespring, so I shut down the shop. I'm like, I'm not gonna have people buy something that gets me some money, earns this other company business, and not be satisfied with it. Even if a lot of people use Teespring and like Teespring, if people aren't gonna be satisfied with it, and they're going to be buying it, I'm not going to point people that direction, because I just can't do that. I think it's part of just being a person of integrity. But some things have happened where we might do that again, and I'll explain that in a separate video. But the thing is I had, a coffee mug and a t-shirt, a design that said, live in such a way in the present so that when you get to the future, you do not regret your past. Live in the present in such a way that when you get to the future, you don't regret your past. I call that time management. It's difficult. It's not easy for people. It really isn't. But if we don't have that goal, we're going to get to the future, and we're going to, if we're honest, regret our past. I know a lot of people who have a lot of regrets. I know a lot of people who have, I guess, a lot of pride or something too, like, oh, I don't have any regrets. Well, you know what? There's kind of a wake of destruction in your path. So if you don't have any regrets, I question your sanity, your integrity, your honesty, in a situation like that. So we come in full circle here. I'm still rather new at parenting, but my time with him, if you think about it, is probably close to about the halfway point of really being able to be his father in a certain way. Because when he gets married and leaves my house and goes and starts his own family, that's a new family. Although he will still be my son, he won't be a part of my family in the same way, will you?
No.
No. What's going to be your family then?
A different family.
A different family with you and your wife, and then maybe your children. So, if he is struggling with honesty, struggling with respect, if you notice, a lot of times I'll ask him a question, what's your answer? How do you answer if I answer something you want to say yes? What do you say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We're teaching him a level of respect. And anyway, if he's dishonest, if he's deceptive, if he's disrespectful, I have a hard time to say, here, come receive this blessing. We've had discussions in the past, and I've said sometimes that his actions prevent me from loving you the way that I want to, right?
Yes, sir.
Because there's certain things I want to give you or bless you with that doesn't make sense if you're behaving that way. I'm not going to reward bad behavior, right?
Yes, sir.
And then there's some blessings, some cool things that we just get to miss out on. What's one of the things I want to do with you right now? Do you know? A little father-son thing I've been wanting to do with you for a bit now.
Go catch gar.
Well, yeah, go catch gar, and then also just go on a kayak fishing trip down at the lake. Spend some shoulder-to-shoulder time. They say women are more face-to-face talkers. Men are more let's do something and we can talk while we do it. Well, I want to sit there in one kayak. I want him to sit there in another kayak. And for us to be able to enjoy just some shoulder-to-shoulder time, building some memories, working on our relationship, talking about some things, and, you know, hopefully getting our relationship a little better. I want a good relationship with all my children, and I have to have a proper level of authority, a proper level of instruction and correction and grace and mercy and forgiveness and love and compassion. But also, you know, standards are going to be standards, and I'm not going to lower my standards to accommodate for somebody's disobedience. Would that help?
No.
If I just started expecting less of you? Well, maybe it's too hard for him to say yes, sir, so we'll just let him say yeah, sure, instead of yes, sir. You know, maybe he doesn't need to be honest all the time. We'll just let him lie like half the time. You know, that's not going to work out for us. So, in the grand scheme of things, we do appreciate people noticing, hey, where's this guy been? Why isn't Monster Truck in more videos? And I have been trying to work Mama Pepper into more videos. That's why you guys have been seeing little Chili Pepper more often, because he's often strapped to her chest or with her or something like that. But this guy's working on a few steps of obedience. He's working on some goals. He's working on some specific tasks to actually complete and do a good job and show that he can do something with a good attitude all the way through, and then hopefully get back in the swing of things. We do appreciate, you know, if you guys want to pray for our family, we know a number of you do. Pray for us. Pray for wisdom and discernment on my part of the leadership of this household, of the proper, you know, authority and instruction, and yeah, just that I would do the father and husband job really well and be able to fulfill the actual needs of this family, and also to be able to set them up for their future. Also, pray for our children. Right now, who do you think our biggest child as far as in need of prayer and help would be? Who do you think is probably doing the worst out of all our children and really needs the most help?
Me?
Yeah, you know, he's being honest and vulnerable here, guys. I'm not really putting him on the spot. Are you super uncomfortable talking about this?
No.
No, I mean, it's life, right? It's the reality of it. It's what we're dealing with. You know, I'm also being rather vulnerable here, but I don't need to put on a facade. I don't need to pretend like I'm somebody I'm not. You better believe I struggle. I have a wife and 7 children. I have 7 children, 11 and under. A lot of you have no idea what that's like, and those of you who do can probably relate that there's struggles. There's issues, there's things that don't always work out well. And even tonight, I was hoping to get back in time that Mama and the girls could go to the rodeo that's going to be going on in town, and maybe Monster Truck, Bugger, and I could just hit the lake, which is right next to the rodeo, and enjoy some time. Now, I got stalled. I was told to wait an extra half hour before showing up to pick up my hay. So we were looking for a cool park to stop at. We found this one. While I was here, I was like, you know what? This whole trip to get this hay and other things is eating up time I would normally spend making a video for you guys. But then I realized I still had this opportunity, you know, where I could. And at the moment, you know, we just show you views into our life. It's not all homesteading. Some is wild edibles. Some is adventures and fun and fishing. Some is whatever we do. Some's cooking, you know. Some's more philosophy, I guess, more lifestyle, more things like that. Right now, this is where we're at, and this is what we're dealing with. So this is what our video is about. It's about me, it's about my son, it's about why he hasn't been in more videos lately, why there's cool adventures we're having that he's not a part of. And I know I can't exclude him from our life, right? We can't just kick you out of the house, go live in the woods and say fend for yourself. Right? You gotta be in our life, you gotta be in our house, you're gonna be in our family. We're not, you know, removing him from that, but I just cannot bless a disobedient children in the extra stuff all the time. There's a lot of extra stuff we get to do. I make the joke that we work hard. Well, it's not even a joke. I make the statement, we work hard, we play hard, and we rest hard. Like, we really do. On a weekly basis, you'll see some of these kids, we'll put it to it. Between the meals and the meal cleanups and the schoolwork and all those stuff on the homestead and all the animal chores, we work hard. But you better believe if you check out some of our fun, playful videos, we play really hard. I mean, some of the stuff you guys do, people only dream of. You know what I mean? We go on some super adventures. Not all of it even makes it to the videos here. We have a lot of fun. But also we rest really hard, and we take, you know, one day off a week. We take the Sabbath off. And we rest really hard, and I think that's really been a good blessing for our family. I know it's definitely helped keep me in better health just because I work myself so hard during those other days. I mean, normally I don't stop till after sundown, right? Yeah. A lot of times it's harder now that it's summer because I have to stop earlier in the day to eat and then try to start again. Where in the winter I can just work hard till sundown and then come in the house. But that's where we're at, guys. This is my boy, Monster Truck. I love him dearly. He's my oldest son, and we have a lot of fun together. We're working on our relationship and trying to grow it properly. That's why he's with me on this trip right now. And openly and honestly, that's why he hasn't been in more videos and more adventures lately. If you guys would pray for us, please do. If you want to leave a comment of encouragement, please do. If you've got anything you've seen from his life in different videos that's blessed you, or stuff that he's, you know, done that you thought was cool, feel free to share that. You know, it's just words of encouragement and stuff. And we try to praise them, all our kids, when they do good things. We try to point that out and isolate that and say, hey, that was awesome. Went on a kayak trip with the girls, right? There was a man who didn't want to get wet with us. So when he got stuck, Red Pepper would get out and push him free, just so he didn't have to get wet. I mean, for what's she, 9? Yeah. For a 9-year-old girl to be making sure some guy, I'm guessing in his 40s, you know, doesn't get wet, and just showing compassion for him and even pulling him up to shore sometimes too, that's awesome. You know, that's something I want to point out and say, that was awesome, good job, you know, because not everyone's like that. These kids will see somebody with groceries walking to the door and they'll run and open it for them. They'll help. And we want to encourage that, but we also want to make sure we're not getting slack on the disobedient things, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that said, Papa out.
Monster Truck out. Thank you for watching. And the next one.